Hello, everyone. As I promised, I'm going to be doing the astrology of March 2022. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to share my screen with you. I think this one will work. Let's see. Yay, it worked. So we're going to just look at the first 5 days of March. We're going to look at the first week. I have been doing things week by week now because things have been so intense. And this first week of March is very, very active. So I'm going to need some decent time to look at it and talk about it with you. So I'm going to just do the first week of March. And if I can, I'll try to get the other weeks out sooner than before the week, but definitely a lot of intense things happening. So let's take a look at the first thing that happens in March of note, and that happens on the 2nd of March. We have the sun making a sextile to Uranus, and we have the sun in Pisces, of course. We have Uranus in Taurus, and this is sextiles are always opportunistic, and this sextile is no different. This is an opportunity for us to move in a direction of progressive change. And, you know, progressive change is really the change where it comes from giving more people opportunity to thrive. Really, that's what progressivism is. It lowers the people all the way at the top. They kind of get lowered down a bit, and the people at the bottom get a little bit more, of the pie and the opportunity. And we can't really grow without that. So this is the opportunity for that. Now, it started back on April 30th of last year, when these two planets came together. This is a synodic cycle. It starts with a conjunction, and then it moves all the way to the next conjunction. And there's 360 degrees through that period, like distance-wise, 360 degrees. And when it gets to that 300-degree mark, which has the energy of Aquarius and has the energy of humanitarian, within the energy of just the angular relationship between two planets, and you make one of those planets be Uranus, the planet of change, it's especially potent, especially at this time of change. This opportunity is based on the seeds that were planted on April 30th, and the Sabian symbol for that was a woman watering flowers in her garden. So I always ask, what are you watering? Are you watering the seeds of love, the seeds of stability, the seeds of chaos, the seeds of division, the seeds of doubt? What are you seeding? The seeds of hope? Because those seeds are coming to be utilized. It's like the fruit of that seed that was planted back last April is now ready to be shared with everybody. We also have on the 2nd, the sun, Mercury making its annual conjunction to Saturn. This will generally just happen once a year, unless it happens during a Mercury retrograde period, and we can have 3 conjunctions within the energy of that first conjunction. But this is the first conjunction, I believe. So there's only one, and this is it. At 19 degrees of Aquarius. And if we look over here on this chart, now this chart is for Washington, D.C. So I apologize. I apologize to everybody who's not from America. In the case of America, this new moon, this Saturn and you can see the new moon is there too, though. Saturn and Mercury are conjoining in the 9th house. And the 9th house is like foreign affairs. And so it seems to me like there's more of a commitment here to work together for democratic principles. The fight for democracy is not a fight that's just being waged in America. It's a fight being waged all over the world. And I feel like there's a new commitment to that with this particular vibration of Mercury, which is the mind. So we have the mind, and Saturn, which is the set point. So this is the mindset, right? And it occurs right before the new moon. This is just a little while before the new moon that this happens. This happens at 11:30 in the morning, and the new moon is shortly thereafter. I think it's in the afternoon. And the symbol for 19 degrees of Aquarius is amazing to me. It says a forest fire is being subdued by the use of water, chemicals, and sheer muscular energy. The skill and courage necessary to bring under control the destructive potential of carelessness of karmic visitations. If that doesn't describe Vladimir Putin and what's going on with him, where he wants to get back to the glory of making Russia great again, going back to the past when when everything was wonderful. Yeah, for like 3 people. It's, come on, Vlad. We are shown a man in action in a crucial and potentially devastating situation. There is a need for total mobilization of energy and deep sense of indomitability. We need to have a mobilization of energy. And it's happening on the physical, right? There are countries coming into aid, things are moving, things are shaking. Ukraine seems to be the place where it's being recognized. Perhaps it's because where Vladimir Putin points at his tank gun, and it becomes the focus. Because Putin is Putin's action are changing things. Things are changing because of what he's done. Even though his intention is what his intention is, it's usually not what ends up happening. The opposite ends up happening. So if he wants total control, he will lose control. But that also includes is if you want domination, you will not be dominated. And in order not to be dominated, people have to work together. And this is an example of that. They have to shine their light to dispel the darkness. And because not enough happened already, we have the new moon in Pisces. Now think of the symbol of Mercury and Saturn. Mercury is like information. Saturn is the structure of our consciousness. Saturn structures our mind. It brings in your Mercury in your chart, that brings in the information, but it's Saturn that structures the information. And so if this is a time of great power to set intention, then set the intention of what you want to see, because there's power in it. The mindset. What's the mindset here? So the new moon in Pisces, 13 degrees of Pisces, an ancient sword is used in many battles, is displayed in a museum. Through the effectual use of his will, a consecrated man can become a symbol of courage for all those who follow in his footsteps. Sounds like Zelensky to me. It's like we're watching a passion play in front of our very eyes. the Arthur pulling this Excalibur out of the stone, the symbol of truth, justice. I did Taroscopes for the Aquarius, and right up top at the top of the chart, at the top of the reading was the Ace of Swords. Justice. Justice is above us. Willpower is the ultimate spiritual weapon. It is undeviating, it's undeviating use in the certification of individual worth. Whenever found, the symbol emphasizes the imperative need to make use of the will in meeting the basic challenges of the inner lives as well as outer adversaries. So it's not just about fighting people, giving people more guns. It's not about that. That is necessary at this time because we have to fight for it. We're still in that place, or certainly Ukraine's still in that place to fight for it. But ultimately, it's not just the fighting on the outside, because that which we fight outside of ourselves is what we don't accept inside of ourselves. And we have to come to peace with ourselves. That's what peace is. It's being okay with the good and the bad, and being in a poise, because we do have a dual nature. We do. You know, sometimes we're good and sometimes we're not. It's the balance of that and the awareness of it, and then the ability to contain it in a healthy way. So actually, let me go back because we didn't even actually look at the chart here. Here we have this new moon, right, in Pisces. The sun and moon, 13 degrees of Pisces. We looked at the Sabian symbol for that. We have Jupiter in a conjunction to this new moon. And then we also have Neptune in Pisces. Here's Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune and Jupiter are the rulers of Pisces. So they're very powerful in Pisces. Then we have this new moon. So this, it's like a giant tidal wave. This is a tidal wave. The thing with Pisces is that it can be healing, but it can also be toxicity. There can be a toxicity with Pisces because the Neptune, the ocean, the way that we like, Neptune rules. Pisces is the ocean. Neptune rules petroleum. Neptune rules plastics. You know, really sort of, this can be this new moon can be a tidal wave of awareness around the situation of climate. You know, this is a deluge of water energy, emotions, feelings, and what we feel we can manifest into the physical world. And so as we mourn and as we weep, we create the, you know, the storms. See where the storms are, right? So this is very deep. And remember, Pisces is on the path that opens the forces of nature through the Kabbalah onto planet Earth. So this can be a great healing, a great cleansing. It depends on where your intention lies. And I think that, you know, different people are going to have different experiences. So your power in this is, what do you want your experience to be? And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to take an action step. Imagine it to be so. Imagine it to be so. And see what opens up for you. You know, sometimes we think we know what we want, but we find out what we get, what we need. So just the mere fact of being open to the promptings of spirit will shift us and change us and make us better, for sure. Sure. On March 3rd, the day after the new moon, Mars makes its biennial conjunction to Pluto. That happens every 2 years. Mars has been making conjunctions to Pluto in Capricorn since 2008. This one that's happening on March 3rd is the last one that Mars is making to Pluto in Capricorn. The next one will be in Aquarius. And I believe it's at 1 degree of Aquarius, which is the same degree that Venus and Mars are going to be conjoining come the 6th, which I'm not going to cover. Actually, I should have, but I'm not. That'll be next week. Unless it's in here. If it's in here, I'll cover it. I might not have put it in yet. 28 degrees of Capricorn is Pluto. It's Pluto of the United States. So this is a powerful opportunity for the United States to move forward from its soul, perhaps to help, aid, be a force for good. I mean, we certainly don't have a sterling record, and we certainly, have done our share. But the nature of things is one side usually suffers and the other side doesn't, thrives. But it doesn't really have to be that way. We can figure out a way to access our divine nature through creative visualization and believing that it can be done. It doesn't necessarily have to be win-win. But there are times when things are going to be good and there are times when things are going to be bad. But there's a natural flow to that. There's a natural flow to gaining and having to let go. It's just when we get forced by a circumstance. But if we create our circumstances on some level through our process of co-creation, because we co-create one way or the other. I don't know if you know that. Like, you think you're going to be a failure and you end up failing. So we're constantly co-creating. We're creating our lives as a process of co-creation with spirit. But if you're enlightened, or if the light bulb goes off and you realize that, hey, wait a minute, I'm a pretty good person. I think that I want good things to come into my life instead of I'm a sinful person. I don't do things right. I'm stupid. I'm whatever your teacher or your doctor or your rabbi or your priest or whoever told you, your parents, that whatever, or life just said you're not worthy because your skin is brown or whatever. It's time to Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008, so it's going to go out in like 2023, 2024. It's been in there a long time, and we've all been processing and transforming our relationship to authority, including our relationship to our own authority, and starting to trust ourselves perhaps more than we ever have before. And saying, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing this? Whose idea was this? That kind of stuff. It's happening. This Mars-Pluto conjunction on the Pluto of the United States, and any planet you might have at around 28 degrees of Capricorn, give yourself a 10-degree orb, or Cancer, or Aries, or Libra. You have planets in those. This conjunction is doing something to your chart. If you have something in 28 degrees of Taurus or Gemini, this is trining those things. It's a flow. It's a real flow. So, depending on what what your chart looks like and what's happening. But for all of us, this is a big deal. The Sabian symbol for 28 degrees is a large aviary. The enjoyment of spiritual values by the soul, able to familiarize itself with their implications. This is about, an aviary is a structure that holds all different kinds of birds, and they all have their own song. And while somebody else's song may not be your song, it's not in your language, it's not in the beat that you like, there's an acceptance of their song, and they accept your song. And so it's really about bringing together many different kinds of people into a place where, while their voices and their pitch and all of that may be different, that they can still coexist. That's really what this symbol speaks of. If you read the book on the Sabian symbols, Roger talks about this. This is the start of a 2-year-long synodic cycle, which presents the world soul, in which the present world soul, our evolution, plants its unconscious desires into our conscious, into Mars, into our conscious desires. It's like we get seeded by the soul, saying, this is Mr. Phelps, this is your next thing. Then Mars goes off and does it. So the symbol here is a symbol of coming together. The symbol here is a symbol of being able to be many different birds, all in the same vicinity without too much difficulty. And here we have the, I did it at 0 degrees of Aries, so this is sort of a world thing, not just a United States thing. And this is in the 10th house because we're in Capricorn, right? This is happening in Capricorn. Now you see that right next to it, we have Venus. So what does that mean? It means Venus also on the same day, a little while later, will make a conjunction to Pluto. Now she has a year-long cycle. So whatever is planted at this time will manifest itself in a year. But there's a special caveat with Venus and Pluto, because Venus, because of her retrograde cycle in Capricorn, this is the 3rd time she's met Pluto. So she's had 3 dates with the Lord of the Underworld, Venus in Capricorn, the feminine authority. And she's coming out of this. She's having her last meetup with the Lord of the Underworld. And she's coming, when she comes from this, she will bring her nature along with it. Just as Mars has that nature of going out there and conquering, we have Venus bringing in the nature of relationship. So she's met the devil. She knows what he wants, or she knows what Pluto wants. I said he because, it's always, Pluto's always a guy. He's one of those guys, one of the Olympians, right? But it's the same thing. It's the same idea. It's the aviary. This starts a year-long synodic cycle, which Pluto plants the seeds of what we love and need in order to evolve through our relationships to ourselves and to others. And that year-long cycle sort of comes around before Mars. Mars is, I don't know, Mars might be about halfway, or it could be a little less or a little more than halfway. I think it's going to be a little less because Mars goes retrograde at the end of this year in Gemini. We'll talk about that when the time comes. Can't think of too much stuff. A lot of stuff happening. And then on the 5th, March 5th, we have a conjunction between the Sun and Jupiter. This is a synodic cycle once a year. Sun meets Jupiter. Jupiter and the Sun can be very optimistic, overly optimistic, overly helpful, overly too much of too much when these two planets get together. And it's going to be getting together in Pisces, which is water. So again, I would say be aware of your environment when it comes to flooding. That's true of the whole week, really. I don't know what the weather says is going to happen, but there could be some big storms here. There could be actually some big, like, snowstorms, brainstorms, stuff like that. 15 degrees of Pisces, the Sabian symbol for this. You can't write this stuff. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, people. I'm telling you. An officer instructing his men before a simulated assault under a barrage of live shells. The need for thorough rehearsing before a complex and inherently dangerous social ritual in which power is used or evoked. Valorization, a concept of group value, dominates the entire scene. Group value. Group value. So part of relating and connecting with others is just that, is making the connection. It's like the old connect the dot books. When I was a little kid, like, if I could have any book from the coloring book section in the Woolworths or the Five and Dime or wherever I happened to go with my mother, it was a connect the dots. There'd be all these little dots with the numbers. You follow the numbers, and something would appear. Right, a turtle, a puppy, a Christmas tree. I loved those because it was like, well, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And when all the dots came together, you would see what the big picture was. And that's what we're doing now. We're connecting the dots, guys. And when you shine your light, and I know I say shine your light, you're like, stop saying shine. I'm not going to say it. It's just going to keep coming out of my mouth. But when you shine your light, you're seen. When you're seen, then people who are also shining light get a chance to connect. And we're lighting up the web. We're enlightening the web. We're enlightening ourselves. We're enlightening. We're bringing the energy up. And we can manifest peace, and we can manifest love, and we can manifest a different way. And this isn't about just averting a disaster and then going back to the old ways. There are no more old ways, people. There are no more old ways. Those old ways are getting flushed. So figure out what it is that you love and emanate peace within your heart. Whatever that means for you. It's going to mean different things to different people. So, let me just check one thing, guys. Excuse me. A second. Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure I did the whole thing here. Okay, I did. All right, wonderful. Okay, guys. That's the first week. That's a lot, I realize. Oh my God. It's a lot to take in. So I did a little channeling. I know sometimes you never see me, and then I can't get off the computer, right? And I can't get off the my YouTube channel. But I do it because this is the time that things need to be said. I try to be organized. I try to do things like in an orderly basis. But you know, when the spirit moves me, I have to move, and the spirit's really been moving me the last couple of days. So I'm going with it. So I hope you enjoyed that. All right, guys, I'll see you next week for the next week coming, the 6th to the 18th, maybe, right? Whatever the week that is. I can't do math in my head. I apologize. So I'm here for you. I know you're here for me. And if need be, I'll get on with some other people and we'll chit chat if we need the encouragement and we need the time together, because I think it's real important. I think this is part of the shining of the light. Okay, guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you again. Much love. Namaste. You need a reading with me? The link's below. All right. See you soon. Bye.